It sounded almost harmless when he said it, yet the room shifted instantly. Sam Heughan was reflecting on early memories, the kind actors usually gloss over with humor. Then he paused, smiled faintly, and admitted that his first on-screen kiss with Caitríona never truly left him. The word he used wasn't dramatic, but it carried weight, as if the memory still lingered in places he hadn't expected. What caught fans off guard was not the confession itself, but its honesty. Sam had spoken about professionalism and craft for years, carefully separating character from reality. This time, there was no protective framing, only a quiet acknowledgement that some moments refused to fade. The simplicity of the statement made it feel more intimate than any elaborate story ever could. To understand why fans reacted so strongly, it helps to revisit the beginning. When Sam and Caitríona Balfe first stepped into their roles, expectations were high and pressure was intense. That first kiss was not just a scripted beat, but a test of chemistry that would define the entire series. Both actors have admitted in the past how nerve-wracking those early days were. First moments carry a unique kind of imprint. They happen before confidence settles in, before routines form, when everything feels exposed and uncertain. For Sam, that kiss represented more than a scene. It marked the instant he realized how much was at stake. Careers, fan expectations, and personal vulnerability all collided in that brief exchange. His confession reframed that memory not as romance, but as a turning point. Fans who expected a sentimental tone were surprised by its complexity. There was warmth, but also respect, and a hint of gravity that suggested the moment had shaped him professionally. It wasn't about longing, but about impact. As clips of the confession spread, reactions poured in from every corner of the fandom. Many described feeling oddly emotional, as if they were being let in on a private reflection. Others replayed early scenes, searching for traces of that intensity now colored by hindsight. The collective response was less about speculation and more about shared nostalgia. What made the moment resonate was its restraint. Sam didn't embellish or romanticize the past, nor did he downplay it. He simply acknowledged that certain experiences stay with you because they arrive when you are most open. That honesty allowed fans to connect without feeling manipulated. The phrase, "still haunts him," took on a different meaning in that context. It wasn't haunting in a painful sense, but in the way formative memories linger quietly. Those memories don't demand attention, yet they surface unexpectedly, reminding you of who you were at the start. Sam's reflection captured that nuance. For years, fans had debated the line between performance and reality, often projecting their own interpretations onto every interaction. This confession shifted the focus inward, toward the actor's internal journey rather than outward speculation. It suggested that the most powerful connections can exist without becoming romantic narratives. The moment also highlighted how rarely actors speak about vulnerability tied to their craft. Discussing technical challenges is safe, but acknowledging emotional residue is riskier. Sam's willingness to admit that a scene left a lasting impression felt refreshingly human. It reminded fans that actors carry experiences long after the cameras stop rolling. As the conversation continued, many fans found themselves reflecting on their own first moments. The first job, the first big risk, the first time realizing life was about to change. Sam's confession acted as a mirror, turning a celebrity anecdote into something universally relatable. That shared recognition deepened the emotional response. By the end of the day, the narrative had shifted from gossip to reflection. Fans weren't arguing about implications, they were sharing memories and emotions. The confession had opened a space for empathy rather than speculation. In doing so, it softened the usual boundaries between audience and performer. What lingered most was the quiet sincerity of the moment. Sam didn't offer a grand revelation, only a truth shaped by time. That truth resonated because it wasn't about romance, but about beginnings and the way they echo through our lives. Sometimes, what haunts us is simply the reminder of who we were when everything first began. As the initial excitement settled, the conversation around the confession began to deepen. Fans moved past the headline phrasing and started unpacking what Sam had really revealed. The word, haunts, lingered, not as a hint of unresolved romance, but as a doorway into something more introspective. It suggested memory, imprint, and the quiet power of beginnings rather than desire. For many listeners, the confession reframed how they understood emotional residue in acting. Performers are trained to step in and out of intense situations, yet not all moments dissolve once a scene ends. When Sam Heughan spoke about that first kiss, it sounded less like longing and more like recognition. Recognition of a moment when everything felt exposed, uncertain, and irreversible. Fans began to discuss the idea that what truly lingered was not the kiss itself, but the person he was at that time. Early in a career, before confidence hardens and patterns form, experiences carve deeper lines. That kiss happened when Sam was standing at the edge of a life-changing commitment, unsure how the world would receive him. Remembering it meant remembering that vulnerability. This interpretation shifted attention toward Caitríona Balfe as part of that shared threshold. Not as an object of memory, but as a fellow traveler in the same uncertain moment. They were both stepping into roles that would define years of their lives, bound by the pressure to succeed together. The kiss symbolized trust under pressure, not romance beyond the script. The fandom's response reflected this maturity. Instead of escalating speculation, many fans expressed appreciation for the honesty itself. They recognized how rare it is for actors to acknowledge the emotional weight of early scenes without dramatizing them. The confession felt respectful, both to the craft and to the boundaries Sam had always defended. There was also a noticeable shift in tone across discussions. The focus turned inward, with fans sharing stories of their own formative moments that still echo years later. A first job interview, a risky decision, a moment of courage taken before knowing the outcome. Sam's reflection became a catalyst for collective memory rather than celebrity obsession. Critically, the confession also reinforced the separation between memory and meaning. Remembering something vividly does not require it to define the present. Sam did not suggest that the kiss shaped his personal relationships or emotions today. He acknowledged it as a marker, a moment that signaled transformation rather than attachment. This distinction mattered deeply to fans who had long struggled with blurred lines between character and actor. By framing the memory as professional and personal growth rather than romance, Sam subtly reset expectations. It was an invitation to appreciate the work without demanding more from the people behind it. That invitation was quietly powerful. Industry voices chimed in with similar interpretations. Acting coaches and performers noted how first intimate scenes often leave lasting impressions because they combine vulnerability with scrutiny. Being watched while navigating something unfamiliar can imprint deeply, regardless of emotional content. Sam's confession aligned with that understanding, grounding it in experience rather than fantasy. As days passed, the story lost its sensational edge and gained something more enduring. Fans revisited early episodes not to hunt for hidden meaning, but to appreciate the rawness of those performances. Knowing the weight behind that first kiss added texture without changing its intent. It enriched the narrative instead of distorting it. The confession also highlighted trust between Sam and his audience. By sharing a thought that was personal but not provocative, he demonstrated confidence in how it would be received. He trusted fans to listen without demanding ownership of the memory. That trust, once extended, reshaped the dynamic of the conversation. What ultimately resonated was the universality of the feeling he described. Most people carry moments that no longer hurt or thrill, but simply remain. They surface unexpectedly, reminding us of thresholds crossed and paths chosen. Sam's words captured that quiet persistence with surprising clarity. In the end, the story was never about a kiss that refused to fade. It was about the way beginnings echo, even when the present is firmly grounded. By naming that echo, Sam offered something rare in celebrity culture, a reflection that felt honest, contained, and complete. And in doing so, he allowed fans to melt not over romance, but over recognition of something deeply human.